Sometimes people wonder, well, how do you go from this big fleet to actually monetizing the fleet in an autonomous situation? And it's actually a combination of it's like Airbnb and Uber to some degree. So there'll be some cars that Tesla owns itself, and it's kind of like an Uber fashion. But then for the fleet that is owned by our customers, it will be like an Airbnb thing. You can add or subtract your car to the fleet whenever you want. So you can say, I'm going away for a week. At just one tap on your Tesla app, your car gets added to the fleet, and it just makes money for you while you're gone. Yeah. So you can say you can add it to the fleet for a few hours, for a few days, for a few weeks. Whenever you want it back, you can say, come back, and car will come right back. And I'm highly confident that it will far exceed the value, the revenue made by the owner of the car will far exceed the actual monthly payment. And then Tesla will obviously take a rev share on that, but most of the money will go to the owner of the car. And this is actually going to work. This is what will happen. So mark my words, this is simply...
You know, the whole idea of a Tesla robotaxi network, it's always felt a little bit like science fiction, right? We're talking millions of cars, owned by millions of different people, all working together in a giant fleet. But the biggest hurdle might not even be the self-driving part. It's the data. How do you securely manage all that information without a central system just completely collapsing under the weight? Well, a new patent application just revealed Tesla's blueprint, and it's a surprisingly elegant solution. So let's dive in and break down the architecture that could finally unlock the robotaxi fleet.
It all really starts with this one simple but honestly pretty profound question. When your car is generating just terabytes of data, everything from camera feeds to your driving habits, who actually gets to decide where it goes? Is it you, the owner, or is it the manufacturer? This question is right at the heart of the problem that Tesla is trying to solve here.
Okay, so before we jump into Tesla's pretty clever solution, we've got to understand why the old way of doing things is just, well, it's broken. The problem is a massive centralized bottleneck, a system that simply cannot handle the future of transportation. So think about how it works right now. Pretty much every bit of data from your car, every camera feed, every single turn gets funneled all the way back to the manufacturer's central server. Only then, after the car maker has it, does it get sent out to third parties like maybe an insurance company or a fleet manager. As you can imagine, this process is inherently slow, it's expensive, and it puts the car maker in total control of your data. This slide really lays out the fundamental shift. On the left, you've got the old way, which is basically a data traffic jam. Imagine millions of cars all trying to talk to one central server at the same time. It creates lag, it creates huge costs, and it just can't scale. Now on the right, you see Tesla's approach, a direct connection. The car talks directly to the service it needs to, completely bypassing the middleman. This is what makes it fast, efficient, and most importantly, scalable. But the biggest deal, you, the owner, are the one who grants permission.
So what's the secret sauce here? The solution lies in this really ingenious architecture that cuts out that middleman entirely, creating a direct and totally secure connection.
All right, if you look at the actual patent diagram, you can see the three main players. You've got the vehicles, which are labeled 110, the third-party network, 130, you can just think of this as the robotaxi service, and then the real key to all of this, the management network, 120. Now, this network is the clever bit. It acts like a digital bouncer at a club. It checks the ID of the car, it checks the ID of the service, confirms they're both legit, and then it just lets them talk directly to each other. After that introduction, it steps away completely. It never touches or even sees the data that flows between them.
Okay, so how on earth does the system build all this trust without a central server constantly looking over its shoulder? Well, it all comes down to a kind of secure digital handshake. The core technology here is something called mutual TLS, or MTLS. And honestly, the best way to think about it is as a digital secret handshake. Both your car and the robotaxi network hold these unique digital certificates. Think of them like unforgeable ID cards. They present these cards to each other at the exact same time, and only if both identities are verified does that secure data channel open up. It's this mutual, two-way verification that makes it so incredibly secure. And it all happens in 4 really quick steps. First, the robotaxi service defines what kind of data it needs. Second, that request is authorized and it's cryptographically signed, which is just a fancy way of saying it's sealed with a unique digital signature that proves it's authentic. Third,
Your vehicle gets this request and checks that signature. And finally, once everything checks out, that direct, secure connection is established and the data starts streaming. Simple as that.
Okay, so that's the tech, the nuts and bolts of it all. Now let's zoom out and see how this secure handshake is actually the key to unlocking something absolutely massive, the entire robotaxi fleet. This comparison just makes the shift crystal clear, doesn't it? The old model is basically a traditional taxi dispatch. Every single car has to report to a central point, and that creates a huge bottleneck. Tesla's network, on the other hand, is like a modern peer-to-peer system. Each car connects directly to the service. This is what makes it so fast and scalable, and crucially, it puts the car's owner, not some central dispatcher, in control.
So why is this specific architecture such a huge game changer? Well, first, it completely solves the scaling problem. No central bottleneck means you can add millions of cars to the network without it breaking a sweat. Second, it gives you, the owner, real granular control. You decide if and when your car participates. Third, it slashes operational costs. And finally, and this is really cool, it allows your car to multitask. It could be streaming location data to the robotaxi fleet, diagnostic data to a maintenance service, and driving data to your insurer, all at the same time with separate secure permissions for each one.
And this quote from an analysis of the patent just hits the nail on the head. It's about building a massive network built on the principle of individual owner sovereignty. Your car is your asset, and you have the ultimate authority over how it participates in this whole new economy. So let's talk about that control, because this is where it gets really interesting for you, the owner. The patent gets very specific about how it puts you in the driver's seat, literally and figuratively.
So how do you actually manage all this? Is it some complicated dashboard? Nope. The patent points right to the answer: your smartphone. A paired mobile app acts as your command center. You can enroll your vehicle in the robotaxi fleet with just a tap, and just as easily you can pull it out of service. This is direct, simple, owner-centric control at its best. And for that extra layer of security, that real peace of mind, the system can actually require you to be physically present. This means, to make a significant change, like joining a new fleet, you might have to tap a confirmation button on the car's main screen, or simply have your paired phone inside the car. This prevents someone from, say, remotely adding your car to a service without your knowledge. It's a huge security feature. So look, the really crucial takeaway here is this. This patent is not just about some clever way to move data around. No, it is the architectural blueprint for a truly decentralized transportation economy. An economy where the value and the control aren't held by one single central company, but are distributed among the millions of people who actually own the vehicles. And that just leaves us with this one fascinating question for the future. Once your car transforms from a liability that just sits in a garage all day into an active income-generating asset that actually works for you, does that change the very nature of car ownership? If your car can literally earn its own keep while you work or sleep, would you ever own just one again? It's a powerful thought to end on.